everybody, and good morning. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Wendy Yee.
I'm Chris Yee.
Welcome to Board Game Breakfast. Welcome to a new week that does not have a top 100 in it, which is, I know, sad for some of you, but very glad for me, because I can get some other stuff done. But hey, I should mention you should go watch the top 10 through 1, because there's a contest in there, and you want to be involved with that. Here's one thing I need to tell you. Listen, don't fool around, folks. Dice Tower West is a month away. Online registration is done in a week. You can come in at the door, and many people have, but you pay $20 more. So if you're going to do online registration, do it now. Save $20. It's going to be fantastic. Dice Tower West.
Don't delay. Sign up today.
What could
That does sound a little bit.
What could you do with $20?
A whole lot of things.
Put it on red. Put it on red.
Okay, that's...
Dang it, Mike!
Don't listen to
Mike!
Mike, Dice Tower does not
Vegas.
give gambling advice, also. I'm pretty sure... I always learned you're supposed to bet on black, right? I always bet on green. That's how.
Right, yeah, I double down on green, actually. 0 or double 0, double my odds.
Can you bet on green, or do you bet on just one of those two numbers?
Oh, I don't know.
We don't know enough about gambling to know.
I'm only from Vegas. I used to work for a casino, but...
I was like, your dad was a dealer, Chris.
Yeah.
You should know these things.
Dice Tower East registration is also live. That's farther away, so if you're those people who plan ahead, you can do that and come. We'd love to have you. Other than that, there's a lot of different things coming up. We're just going to jump right into the show. Here we go.
Hi everyone, it's Tarrant.
And Stella from Maple University. Now, have you watched Night at the Museum, the movie? Have you?
I have not.
You have not? Aw. Well, this is kind of like the board game, Night at the Museum, the board game, tracking through history. So in this game, you are going through different eras and you kind of like experience the different eras and the special events, and then you're collecting them for set collection, and also at the same time you're drafting something that is underneath it, the resources, to score points. So it's like a double drafting situation.
Yeah, and it has a simplified time track in it. It's probably the only gateway I can think of that has a. It's certainly the simplest game I can think of which has a time track.
The other one is that we can think of is the Search for Planet X. That's got time track. So the more powerful your action is, or in this case, the better card that you collect, the more you advance, or the less turn you do.
No, it's a really clever game, and I hope it does well. I hope they can.
I hope this is evergreen, and I hope they have expansions.
It's a sort of game that's really localizable. Mm-hmm. All you have to do is pick the same number of historical moments from your country or a specific topic and release it in there.
Yeah, like...
You could even do a promotional sport or college one and just have things from there. So
that's absolutely. So have you played Tracking Through History? Highly recommend that. This is a really nice, simple set collection drafting that everyone actually enjoyed in our game meetup.
Indeed.
Yeah. So, that's it. Thanks for watching.
Hello, this is Oliver, and today you may notice that I'm in a different room. And that's because we're not going to be talking about a board game, but something board game related. And that's because we're going to be talking about my new Wormwood modular board gaming table that I'm super duper excited about. So let's just get into it right now. So a few things that I like about this table are that there's this nice felt inside, but you can put these things on top. So if you say you wanted to play a board game and then dinner gets cooked and you're like, oh, so you put these things on top and then you can eat on top of it while your board game's still under there, and then you're like, well, let's finish up our board game. So you take these back off and you can keep playing your board game, which is super cool. And also another thing we have is an accessory. One of the accessories that was available was a cup holder, and you may be like, why is this not attached? Well, there's magnets, so you can attach it right there, and you can attach it on the inside or the outside of the table. Is actually what I'm holding my water in right now. Another thing is this nice inside. There's recess, so it's dice won't fly off the table, or cards won't fly off the table, stuff like that, so everything will be kept on the table because of how deep it is. the actual table is into it. So I think that's pretty cool. And I think that's all I have for today. And I really think this table is going to enhance my board gaming experience. And Wormwood is going to maybe be posting a 2.0 to this, so I don't know when that is, but you can just keep a lookout for it. Alright, have a great breakfast. Bye.
That's why you should never bet on green, Tom, because you shouldn't put your money on the least probable thing unless you're wearing the shirt. Actually.
But if it works, I'd be rich.
I know.
I put so much money on the lottery tickets this week. I have not. I've never once bought a lottery ticket. I've been gifted several from my realtor in the past. I don't know why. It's like their
I
their
didn't
gift to
know
me.
lotteries. I didn't know how lotteries worked because growing up in Las Vegas, we don't have a lottery because we have all the other gambling forms. I remember driving to California with my parents and being like, what are all those like bright colored papers all over the gas station?
Yeah, and they get you because they get kids to do it with like McDonald's and other ways.
Yeah.
You start learning early. Anyway, I don't know what we're talking about this.
Scratch offs are fun.
Take It Easy is what we're talking about, a game from 40 years ago. It was remade as another game called Take It to the Limit. Not 40 years ago. That was 20 years ago, probably. Wow, 40 years. Anyway, this is an old game that is in the bingo category of games. Because what happens is everyone kind of puts all their pieces in front of them. Somebody else, one player randomizes theirs. They pull out that piece. They tell everyone what piece that is. Each piece has 3 numbers, so like 3, 6, 7. Everyone finds that piece, and then you put it anywhere you want on your board. You get points from connecting a whole row or column of colors. So it's... I just played this last year at a convention. It's their big golf games. Actually, it's happening right now. But it's their big like end of the convention.
Do they have,
Everyone
like-
plays.
Do they like a
copies of it?
jumbo-sized one?
They
or?
do. They have like a ton of copies of it.
Huh.
Well, because you could. It's one of those 1 to 90. I mean, we literally could play this with 10,000 people.
Well, yeah, sure.
You could also, not advocating this, you could just draw this. You know what I mean? This could be like a flip and write almost these days.
Sure, although there's
There's a lot
colors.
of lines. Yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah.
lines that you'd have to like write numbers on. I played it for the first time last night on an app.
Oh, did you like
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, meh. It's meh. Probably give it a 5.
I like it more than that.
Really?
I don't know. I have some sort of like fondness of this, and I don't know why. I didn't grow up playing it. I didn't know about it until just a few years ago, but I thought, this is fun. You know, it gives you that same kind of, I like bingo calling type stuff.
I do too.
It reminds me of Calico in the sense of like you are building what you can, you're putting what you can together, but at the end of the day, you're never going to be able to do it all.
I agree, but everyone has the same thing. Calico, you might get luckier than me by drawing better
Exactly.
tiles.
But this is all-
we have the same, and I will look at you and go, I feel like you cheated and moved the tile at one point because your stuff's working out so much better than mine. But you do have to kind of guess, and you take it to the limit, has even more. It has little suns and moons on them, and then that matters where you put them. I don't know. You're right. The bingo thing, I'm usually a fan of that. The roll and rights where numbers are called out, they're some of my favorites.
Really?
Yeah. The one where you cross America is a little bit like that.
Rolling
On
America.
tour?
No, not on tour. The rolling through America.
America.
Oh,
The
okay.
rolling Japan. There's a couple other game right ones. There's one where you pull tiles from a bag and you're writing them and trying to make groups. I like that. So this is fun. It definitely is. When you play it, you're like, this is an older game.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, like, when you look at the development of this type of game, you look at Karuba. Oh my God, it blows this game out of the water.
I like Take It Easy
Yeah.
better than Karuba.
Really?
Because I like the simplicity of Take It Easy.
Oh man, I love not just because in this one you're building the different lines, but I love that in Karuba you're building the lines, and then when a token comes up and you're like, I don't really want to use this one, I can ditch it for movement. You're making a map that's like actually usable. I really like that. That's I think in my opinion so much more fun. Few extra rules, but not that many more.
Yeah, no, I get it. I don't know why that one just didn't appeal to me as much. Incidentally enough, this is an interesting company. This is Burley Games, and they had 2 hits. They made like a total of 7 games.
Are they all named after Eagles songs?
No, that one's Kamisato. which
That's an Eagles hit from 1976. It's
is
not.
not.
No, but
I
take
know
it.
enough to know that there's no song called Kamisato.
You don't know. Yeah, with take it easy, you could say like, oh, that's a common phrase, but no one says like take it to the limit that often. You know, like,
Take it to the limit. The cheat is to the limit of the Fahoa.
So let's take it easy. So, here's the thing: if you find this one as a cheap price, I would recommend trying it out. I think it still works.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, we are Ryan and Bethany.
From Ryan Bethany Board Game Reviews.
All right, today we're talking about Hamburg. This is designed by Stefan Feld and is published by Queen Games. This is a re-implementation of another design of Stefan Feld's called Bruges. Basically, in this game, what you're doing is you are drafting a whole bunch of cards. You're using those cards to kind of build buildings, build zoos, build parks. You are trying to gather all these different meeples into your town in order to get the most amount of victory points. There's a lot of different ways to score. This is kind of a classic Feld point salad style game. But yeah, this is kind of an updated version of Bruges. All different new mechanisms, updated art, all kind of stuff. So if you are a fan of Bruges, Hamburg is going to seem very, very familiar to you.
So this game, the one that we have, comes with 6 expansions, and normally I'm just like, just play it all. Just play it all, put it all in, and just get going. I'm like that way with like the large majority of the games. This is an exception. I would just play it without the expansion so you can understand the things, because that will lead you, like, I mean, they have these starting cards where you start with certain resources or you start with certain abilities and you don't know what that means, right? And so I would just definitely play the game once through first before you start. I mean, after once, maybe even twice through, then you can dump everything in. That's fine.
Yeah, this game, it was a great kind of a middleweight game, right? It wasn't overly complex. Yeah. It wasn't overly easy either. This is a game that was kind of fit that, the 2-player game was about 45 minutes to an hour. So it's a little longer than Bruges, if you're familiar with that game again. But again, it's because there's more things added to it, a little bit more going on. But it's still very streamlined, very quick.
Yeah.
Man, I've been playing the heck out of it lately. We really enjoy it.
Everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you want to hear more from us, you can find us on YouTube. We are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews. Until then, this is Ryan and Bethany, hoping you have a happy, healthy breakfast.
Bye everybody.
Guys.
Hello, Proti here, your Romanian content creator, and today I will continue my series where I will talk about a specific part of a game, and today we will talk about Calico. In Calico, you are making a quilt, you are trying to attract cats, you are trying to knit buttons on it, and trying to make the patterns in a way so that your primary scoring conditions will give you a lot of points. And for sure, everything what you do is for getting points. It's a nice, easy drafting game where you draft those tiles, those patterns from the middle of the table, and then when it's your turn you have 2 from which you can choose from to play on your quilt. Important is that the game is getting more and more restrictive because you're covering the spaces and you're trying to make the right decision so that you score a lot. And this is actually what I wanted to discuss today. It's about a primary, let's say, scoring condition that you put on your quilt, and this is this one, where you have to have either all colors different, all or shapes different of the tiles that are coming around it, or if you have both, you get 15 points. So this is a lot of points, but what's interesting for me, I don't know how my mind works, I really like it to work on this specific goal. Yes, I think it's the most restrictive one, taking in consideration that after you place a tile, that color and that shape you cannot place anymore, but at the other ones you're a bit more flexible at the scoring conditions. But this one I really, really like, and if I have it in the drafting moment, I usually take it, even though it's a bit harder to make. But if I am able to do it, I'm even more happy, and of course I get a bit more points. So I don't know why, but my mind really works on and has a nice fulfillment when I'm able to do this scoring condition. This is for today about Calico. Have a nice breakfast.
All right, this week we have, today, Z is playing Paper Tales in 46 minutes.
A game from his top 100 and nobody else's.
Yeah, but didn't Mike like, wasn't it on Mike's?
It wasn't, but I like it.
Mike likes, I like it too. I think it's fine.
Is it like 200 range for you, Mike?
No, it's probably closer to the 150, actually.
Oh,
Oh,
Really,
wow.
that high?
150, huh?
I think it would be lower for me. I enjoy the game though. It's got it. Anyway, you'll see it. You'll see it going out
Yeah,
with
it's
me.
true. Camilla's doing the Q&A today at noon, And then I'm going to be with Eric Summer at 3 p.m. We're talking to Helena Capel from Kids Table Board Gaming. Tomorrow, we're doing some live plays, a bunch of live plays in a row, a bunch of small games from All Play. Chomp, Couture, Mindspace, and one of the coolest covers ever, Sail. In fact, keep your gears going. We're going to put a poll up. I don't know what that means even.
Keep your gears up.
Yeah, be prepared, says Scar. In a bit, we're going to put a poll up because we're going to do the best board game covers of all time, part 2.
Holy smokes.
So all the covers that we missed.
All right.
That's fun to do. And there was many, many good comments. We'll put in our poll. But ask me one that wasn't in the last one. So.
That's cool.
I can dig that.
Me and the kids are taking a look at Lands of Galzir. We have lots of reviews from our contributors going up this week. Crowd surfing is back with some great stuff and some terrible stuff.
Yeah.
I'll be talking this week about 6 games to play so you don't have to. The most popular games on the Dice Tower Cruise. Power Plants, Inheritors. Encyclopedia is a big review we'll be going through this week. And Hickory Dickory. Hickory Dickory. Okay.
The mouse ran up the clock.
Anyhow, those are the games. There's lots of different things going on. We're back. This is a normal week for the Dice Tower. Normal is sometimes good. Almost always, actually.
Hey there everyone, it's Jen, the board game librarian, flipping some pages and pushing some cubes in my segment from the page to the table where I pair books and board games together that share a common theme. This week I'm going to feature a book that was huge on TikTok, on Book Talk, and it is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry. So this book talks about what happens after the adventure. What happens to our adventurers after they are done with their quest? Well, we have in here that exact answer. So Viv is our main character. She is an orc, and she's had this dream of setting up this coffee shop. Now, coffee shops to us are a dime a dozen, but in this universe, it's a very unique thing. We have an adorably cozy book. I think you'll just lap this up. It's got, it's the cutest characters. So they've had their adventure, they've done the Legends and Lattes, so what game could go with the before the adventure? Well, that could be Clank Catacombs for 2 to 4 players, ages 13 and up, 45 to 60 minutes. So, I was slightly skeptical about Clank Catacombs because we were Clank devotees in its original form, and everyone kept saying, oh, you're gonna like this so much more, you're gonna like it so much more. And I like it so much more in terms of the board, because the board is constantly changing. Every single game that you're going to play is going to be uniquely different, and you're going to have different challenges, things you can do. The deck building aspect is the same thing in terms of the dragon and how the dragon, attacks. That's also the same. But if you're kind of tired of the stale board and static board of Clank and Space, I think you're really going to like Clank Catacombs. That's all this week, friends. Happy breakfast.
This is a segment we take a look at a board game based on an IP, and I tell you if the IP and the mechanisms match. Today we're looking at Shaky Tower, starring Super Mario Brothers. Play game's very easy. You're going to put the red ball on top of the tower. You're going to roll the dice. If it says 0, you don't have to add anybody. If it shows 1, you add 1 person. If it shows 2, you add 2 people. And you simply put them on the side there, and you put them on the little red spot. If it falls over, you lose. Everybody else wins. That's how you play Shaky Tower. It doesn't matter which character you put on. There's no rhyme or reason for Mario where they will go. You're not trying to move up. If you are able to get everybody on there, then the next round you're just taking people off. If you get everybody off there, then you put them on again until this ball falls. That's how you play the game. This one's kind of hard to dictate. No, not really. The mechanisms don't really match the IP. You're putting Mario and Luigi and etc. on it, and if you were kind of climbing up the tower or something of that aspect, or somehow going through the level, I think that would make more sense. But why are you putting Boo on there? Why is the Goomba going on there? Why is the Peach, the princess, missing? Why isn't Bowser in this? Is beyond me. You get Boo, but not Bowser. It's super weird which ones they decided to include, it doesn't really have any theme or storyline attached to it. It's just a shaky tower, and you put Mario Brothers on it. My 4-year-old actually really likes this game, and for the intended market, I think it works well. But as for the mechanisms and the IP working together, not really. Although you may double take on this one and check it out just for the gameplay.
That one or not?
Okay, so if you've been watching the Dice Tower, you'll know that we have dumped the library on its head and redid it. Sort of.
Complete randomness.
And I
no
didn't
rhyme
have
or
to help.
reason.
It's not. It's there's a few shelves in the library that have had nothing changed about them.
Yeah.
And then there are a few shelves in the library that were completely changed. Many of those shelves involved the shelves that we were about to go over. I don't want to start over from the beginning. So we're starting on going backwards now. But not really. It's very confusing. We're starting at shelf 25. So shelf 26 and 27 are all new games, mostly. So we'll talk about them later. Shelf 25 and back is games that we've had for a while. Except shelf 25 used to be called shelf 5.
Yes.
So
Not confusing at all.
it is not. So we're going to be doing shelf 25A. Let's take a look. All right, the new shelf 25, which has on it Munchkin Dungeon. Now, this is very different than Munchkin. It has a little bit of Munchkin mechanisms, but we have ours all painted up. It looks fantastic. A pretty fun game. Then we have Project Elite, a cooperative real-time game. Then Ankh. So this is the Eric Lang trilogy shelf. So we have Ankh. Right now we have Ankh. Then we have a box full of all the extra Ankh stuff. Just like we have 2 copies of Rising Sun, plus a box of Rising Sun stuff. We might go down to 1 copy of Rising Sun soon because it doesn't get played as much as Blood Rage, which we have 2 copies of. One of them's really decked out. And then we have Rum and Bones, Second Tide. This is the sequel to Rum and Bones, just kind of a streamlined, updated version of that. So very much a CMON shelf.
I don't understand.
This is Wendy's favorite shelf in the library.
You know, I've actually played a couple of these games. Not that I like them, but I've played them. That's something.
Yeah, so on this shelf, easily my favorite is Project Elite. I like Blood Rage. I like Rise. Actually, I like almost every game on the shelf. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I like all the games on the shelf.
Never heard you talk about Munchkin Dungeon.
I haven't, and I like it. Now, it is the lowest ranked on the shelf because there is Take That, but it's interesting.
I was like, how much like Munchkin is it?
There's some amount of that where, like, when someone moves up, you play cards to make the monster they fight harder. But the miniatures and the moving up is fun. It's not as crazy random as Munchkin. I like it. Also, we have a painted copy, so that's never leaving the library. It looks good, right?
Never! Like Tom Vassell 10 years from now, what you said.
Maybe. Project Elite's my favorite, and then Blood Rage and Rising Sun are in my top 100. And then Rum and Bones is almost in the top 100. Ankh is almost in my top 500. And Munchkin Dungeon is somewhere lower than that.
Somewhere in the thousands?
Well, I don't dislike Ankh, it's just I don't like it nearly as much as the other ones.
Yeah, yeah. Project Elite is probably the only one that I genuinely enjoy on that shelf. Blood Rage, we played so long ago. I don't know if I tried it again, if I would hate it, or if it would just be fine. Ankh, I didn't really enjoy. I haven't even wanted to try Rising Sun. It just looks big and fighty and bashy.
It is.
My one thing with Project Elite, though, is that the one time that I played it, I know I cheated a bunch because it's got that real-time element and there's no one there to make sure that I'm not doing things wrong.
How did you cheat? You just roll dice and see if you hit or not.
Yeah, but there's like, hey, do you move this and which guy do you fight? And there's just stuff that I'm sure I did wrong.
I don't mind because it's so fast and furious. If you're like, I might have cheated, I'm like, cool, we won. I don't care.
Right, yeah. Oh, hold on, you rolled 1 extra enemy movement. That would have changed the whole timbre of everything.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think that game kind of prioritizes fun over
precision and procedure.
Yeah, not rules follow. You do want to follow rules, but like, it's not a precision game.
It is.
Also, it's my favorite game on that shelf because I think it's the only one that I like. I have played Blood Rage again recently. I downloaded the digital version, so I thought, let me try this again. It's been years. I just didn't really have much fun with it. It wasn't that. I don't know. I don't see what the appeal is in that game. It's a good card draft.
I'm just smiling because this is going to be a theme for the next 4 weeks.
Right? No, but I had, so the game I enjoyed painting the most was probably Rising Sun.
More than Ankh? Because those gods in Ankh are really cool.
Those gods in Ankh were really cool, but the basic guys were not. I don't know. I really enjoyed the Rising Sun, especially the bird dude. There was a lot of very beige stuff in Ankh, and then there were some cool things, like the beetle. That shiny blue beetle was fun.
I was so disappointed watching Wendy paint Ankh for like weeks, maybe months. And she painted all of those different monsters and stuff. And we finally tried it. We played it. Mike was nice enough to teach it to us. And he's like, okay, you pick 2 of these like hundreds of monsters. You pick 2 per game. I was like, that's it?
I agree. That bugs me about Ankh a little bit. That's one of my slight negatives. But I still think the game itself is good. But yeah, you're right. It's like, what? All right. Anyway, that's shelf 25A.
Also, there's a super chat.
Thank you for the super chat.
John.
Appreciate
it, man.
What is up? My name is Matthew McCack, and this is Smashing Buttons and Slamming Cards. This is a segment where I connect a video game I love to a board game I love. And I am continuing on with my top 1 board game for a video game genre. Last time I spoke about survival video games. This week, I am talking about sandbox survival video games. And so the difference between that is, so now not only are you trying to survive in the video game, this adds another layer where, you know, there might not be a clear objective in the video game, but there's a specific focus on crafting and like building. You can build what you want, you could craft what you want. There's a bigger sense of exploration throughout the game, I tend to feel. So I'm thinking of like a game like Valheim. I love Valheim, probably my favorite video game within the genre. My number 1 board game within the to connect to this video game genre would be Seventh Continent. Seventh Continent is totally a sandbox survival board game, I feel. There is a focus on crafting. You have to craft different weapons and things. There's durability involved with what you have crafted, and you are trying to survive this game. Now, when this does have a specific objective in mind where you're trying to lift this curse, but to do so, if you die along the way, that's it. Like, you have to restart. You have to get food to survive. You are exploring through the map and everything. You're even charting different things on the map to see, like, okay, where have I gone? Where has death occurred? You know, what do I need to get in order to lift this curse? So this is definitely my number 1 game for this video game genre. I love Seventh Continent. Anyway, that is it for this week. If you like, you can check out mine and my brother's channel called Room 51. I'll catch you next time.
Hey, board gamers, BJ from Board Game Gumbo here, back on the breakfast. This time talking about one of my favorite Euros from 2022, Toledo. Toledo is a game set in the Middle Ages. Yes, it's beige, but don't forget, beige is the rage right now. And what you're doing is you're trying to get as much prestige as you can by sending your merchants and architects to build cathedrals and to prepare for the big 4 fairs that are going to take place during the 4 rounds of the game. It's got 3 things that I really enjoy. The dice drafting mechanic is just fantastic. The dice are multi-use. They do 3 things. The color of the dice is going to tell you what resource you're getting. The number of pips is going to tell you how much of that resource, and the location and the pips and the number are going to tell you how many actions you get of that particular action on this wheel. It's combolicious. I love this aspect of the board. They've got these bonus tiles all over here on the main map. They've got these bonus tiles here that you can get through the contracts or in this section here on the action wheel. And that creates turns. Remember, there's only 12 turns in this game? Not really. Because many of your turns, if you take a great turn, are going to be, you know, I'm going to take this tile to do this action, to do this other action, then my main action, and then come back and finish it up with these helper tiles. And the final thing is the lanyap. The ability to change the game every time you play is important to me. I've got tons of Euros where the game is basically the same, and the only thing that changes is how the cards or the tiles come out. But in this game, at the top of the board, you've got this whole stack of tiles. Toledo is always there, but the rest of the cities, you don't know which ones they're going to be until you play the game. And you don't know exactly what the goals are going to be for each of the fairs. All right, so that's Toledo from Board and Dice. It's got dice drafting. It's got the bonus tiles and that little bit of lanyap, the ability to change the way the game is going to play every time. I love it. Until next time, laissez le bon temps rouler.
Does the BGG store have shrimp gumbo? Because I'm really in the mood for shrimp gumbo.
Oh,
I don't
that
know
sounds so
if-
good.
Don't know if I'd want that delivered by truck. But,
Is there a gumbo place down here in Homestead?
Maybe part of one of those trucks. There's trucks all over the place. Homestead is growing, folks, at the speed of growth. It's very, I mean, I'm not kidding though. The city has doubled in the last 10 years and it's growing more, but the restaurants are not growing along with the population.
Yeah.
We did finally get a Target. That's something, but it's not a restaurant.
We got the world's smallest Target.
It's the size of a TJ Maxx.
It really is.
You can see the back wall from the front door. That shouldn't be okay.
Well, anyway, we're here to talk about the BGG store and things that they have that you can go there. Obviously, we like when people go to the BGG store because you can buy promos from our old Kickstarters there. But here's stuff that you can get there. We'll tell you if it's good or not.
All right. Well,
Not good. I'm sorry.
this first one here is Shrimp Gumbo. This is 10 Nights.
I would like 10
Un
Nights of Shrimp
Juego
Gumbo.
de Alex Montilla. Those are all the names of the designers. A Rural House. A Fiesta. Descontrol. Out of Control. Lack of Control. There you go. It translates it down here. Tom, you played. This is a social deduction game?
It's a really short social deduction game. I actually played this with Sam Healy last year. But basically...
Welcome to Dice Tower West. Here's our pile of crap games.
That's what he's like. He's like, I remember why I don't play games with you anymore. It wasn't terrible, but it is like everyone closes their eyes. One person, people are moving some pieces. And then if the murderer is in the same room as somebody else, he can kill them. And everyone's trying to figure out who the murderer at the table is. That's it. It's really, really simple.
This sounds like that space game all the cool teenagers played during COVID.
Yeah, except I think that's probably better than this. That's Among Us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Among Us, yeah. All right, Wendy, walk us through this one here.
Okay,
oh, that's heavier than I thought.
Okay, let's just look at the picture Mike is showing
Oh, that's cute. That's cute. This is all in Spanish. Oh, there is English. So first you flip the order card and start baking.
That looks good, Mike.
You stack the layer of your cake on your hand, and then you finish first and ring the bell. Which, do you use this hand to ring the bell?
Yeah, sometimes, no, you're stacking stuff on your hand.
They can't see you, Tom.
Come on, Mike!
I was wondering if this is one of those that you have to like lay it on the table, pull your hand out, then ring the bell.
Yeah,
And if
it's
it's still
like
standing.
Brian O'Hara, but it's not as good. It's neat to see the different cake
cute.
layers. You're not really making cake layers, and if the thing collapses or something, if your thing collapses, but like if someone else finishes theirs, you can keep any part of yours that hasn't fallen, but usually you haven't got very far. It's fine. Both these games are fine.
Do you yell Jenga
No.
when it falls?
You get to ring a bell, which is so much better.
You could ring a bell and yell Jenga.
Kids do like ringing bells.
Yeah, me too.
Oh yeah.
What else we got?
We got the Root Marauder expansion bags. So this is just for bits, 2 little bit bags. Nice printing and stuff on them.
These,
Oh yeah.
These are great.
That's the cute
I
artwork.
think these bits bags that look like the bits are supposed to be in should be for every game in existence. Although I'd be broke.
I'd
be
say
less
that
than
cheese
broke.
is fire, because it's cheese and fire.
Is the cheese on fire?
No, the cheese is near the fire. There's fire and
Yeah, that's
cheese.
because melted cheese is one of the greatest things ever.
It really is.
It really is. I can't think of a cheese that does melt that I prefer not melted.
Blue cheese, maybe?
Can blue cheese melt?
Every cheese can melt.
Every
man.
cheese can melt,
I mean, I
but
get
doesn't
fire
melt
on it.
well.
Sure, exactly.
It's not
yeah.
commonly melted.
Parmesan doesn't melt well.
Right, and that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are good crispy though.
Swiss is 5 times better melted.
Yeah.
I'm
There's
just not a
lot
big
that
Swiss
are.
fan, kind of no matter what. I'll eat it,
It's
but
amazing melted.
Tom, you're the upgraded bits person here.
Yes, I am.
Ew.
Oh, these are metal cubes. This is for Terraforming Mars and every Terraforming Mars spinoff. I don't know. We put these in our Terraforming Mars. You know what, though? These are worth buying because the gold bars in here can be used for many games that have gold.
Oh, they are bars.
Yeah,
They're
they are
not just
bars
gold
instead of this is Top Shelf Gamer brand.
Yes.
They're weighty. Like they are heavy.
Yeah, so you actually, that is a slight negative to them. Sometimes you don't want your games to be like
That
physically heavy. You know, and I don't know, but they're nice. I like them a lot. Do I use them in Terraforming Mars? I don't remember.
I don't remember. I like the ones that come in Terraforming Mars well enough.
I like top shelf components.
Yeah.
Even though they've stopped making new ones like for the past 5 years, but
I don't know. Well, sorry.
That's great.
I don't know if this is enough, especially if you're playing a larger
Like a
player count
four-player?
game of Terraforming Mars.
when you include the 5s and 10s, it is probably.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Larger player. You shouldn't be playing a larger player game.
I mean, like 4.
This is telling you.
There you go. There's enough for 3 players, i.e. optimal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then lastly here, the puzzle calendar.
Which I believe I saw you opening and messing with.
Ooh,
Well,
what is a puzzle calendar?
I sliced it open just so we can actually mess with this, because I've been curious about it. You see how up there on the screen, it'll show a date. Like
This
whatever
says pew, pew, pew.
Oh, you have to figure out how to make the correct date show?
Yeah, you polyomino it together so that it says February, what did it say, 6th?
I would be terrible at this.
I am simultaneously curious and mortified that I would be terrible at it.
This reminds me of those people that have to like solve puzzles or riddles or math problems to turn off their alarm in the morning. Like,
no.
If I had to do this to wake up and like get my brain going in the morning.
No, morning is sacred time, not time for puzzles.
I'm going to say today is June 24th, of Saturday.
Oh, that's what it is. On the bottom is a day of the week. So you have to do the month, the date, and the day of the week. Which I think this is really smart because then you have a new puzzle every single day.
I think this would
What
take
is today?
me
January 6th?
at least an hour to do every single day.
Sorry, February.
6th. Yep.
Like I
got
like
February.
polyomino games, but I'm terrible at like discovering or like making stuff exactly like that.
All right, I got February.
Yay!
Proud of you, Tom.
These don't fit in as well as I'd like them to, but it's a little tighter than it should be.
I see.
All right, I got February 6th. And Monday?
Monday.
Oh, Monday, and Hazuki.
Tom just starts sawing the pieces.
I guess it's
hard.
in chunks so that you kind of have specific pieces that go places.
Oh my word, this is hard.
Yeah, this is one I was really curious about. I think I've seen Aldi, Board Game Geek president, post about trying to do these each day, and I think, oh, that simultaneously seems so interesting, and like I would be awful at it.
I bet right now, though, this is riveting video for you all to watch.
I was thinking we need that like phone camera thing right now.
Oh my
so I can hold
word,
it
this
over.
is hard. Oh, I covered up the 6th.
It seems like it'd be super hard.
Oh my word, this is Trixie's.
And is that other thing just a base to have it stand up straight?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it'll lean a little bit like.
I think I'd
the
be
picture
bad
up
at
there.
these calendar things because you guys, we talked in crowd surfing about the role-playing calendar that you're supposed to go through.
Oh,
I
yeah.
bought it for this year. Ask me how far I am. Ask me if I put the shrink wrap.
That was going to be my
Because
question.
I moved, okay? So that's actually the start of it, and then I just keep forgetting about it. I need to get it on my desk and
What
play
does the
it.
role-playing calendar do?
Like every day you go through like a little bit of role-playing
little
adventure, which would be
scenario.
fantastic. I was like, me and the kids will do this.
Yeah.
It's February 6th. And if I don't get cranked on soon, I'll be like, that's our 2024 project.
I've always been that way with advent calendars. When I was a kid, I'd like open up a couple days consistently, and then suddenly I'd have 8 days of chocolate.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, my kids wouldn't forget that. They would be like, candy. Let's move on. This is all on BGG Store.
Hey, Board Game Breakfast, how's it going? So, quick question for you. Do you ever find yourself, when you have a huge collection of board games, trying to like restructure it where you have games that you haven't played and there's an upcoming board game bazaar where you're getting like where for any local game store is going to go ahead and let you sell their games to get store credits so you can buy more games? Well, Sarah and I are in a position where we're purging a lot of games and then moving a lot of games and restructuring our game room, and just inquiring of everyone at the Board Game Breakfast today on what are some useful ways to organize your room. How do you organize your game room or board games? And also, how do you get rid of your board games? We use bazaars and we use events at game conventions to get rid of our games, to turn them into money or just more board games. So also, here's a quick status of our or what our game room looks like with all the craziness that's happening. Dun, 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 dun. Oh my goodness, so much craziness. It is too much. It is it's quite crazy right now. but I would love to know what your thoughts on restructuring your game room, organization, and maybe how you get rid of your games, whether it's trading them, selling them, or getting some store credit from your friend at a local game store. But yeah, be interested to know. Hope you're having a fantastic breakfast, and also leave those comments so we can know your best tactics. All right, everybody, I've got a game room to fix, so I'll see you later. Bye!
Hello everyone, today I'm here to talk to you about Pandemic Patient Zero. So this is one of the Acolyte books that's based on Matt Leacock's Pandemic. Is it worth reading though? That's sort of the important one. So it's like 370, 80 pages long. And the start of the book was a little slow. It did take me a little bit of time to get into this. It didn't instantly grab me. But when I was sort of at least probably a third of the way through, then I really started to read this. It really felt like, oh, I want to find out what happens next. Now, it does kind of link, it's a loose linking. It keeps dropping the words like epidemic and pandemic and stuff like that in there. But to be honest, if this book didn't have the pandemic name on it, it probably would read exactly the same. It maybe mentions a couple of locations that are specifically on the pandemic board, but other than that, well, it starts to then get a bit more limited. It doesn't sort of go down any of the information you find in Pandemic Legacies or anything like that that could have been maybe Easter eggs, or at least I didn't notice them, and I've played all three. But it's a good book. It was an interesting sort of read. It's the first one of the sort of board game books that I've finished reading. I'm glad I've read it. I might try the next one in the series, but like I say, it didn't grab me from the offing, but certainly by the end I was very much enjoying the read and wanted to find out what happened to the team and potentially the world. Anyway, that was Pandemic Patient Zero, a book. Not a board game, but about a board game, but not about a board game, if you understand that. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your breakfast.
All right, I got September 6th, Monday.
Nice.
That's close.
Close.
Yeah, hold on to that.
Half a year off.
Yeah, I know. I'll take a picture. I'll just do that. I'm going to get a lot of dates. Wait, is September 6th even a Monday? Because that would feel like a waste if it's not. Let me check here.
Yeah, which year is it a Monday?
Well, it's this year, right?
Can you schedule a Facebook post to go up in the future? Be like in 2029 on September
it's
Monday
a Wednesday.
Oh my goodness.
Piece of trash.
Yeah, how far out can you schedule text messages?
I'm going to keep trying that. I don't know. All right, folks, that's it for today's Board Game Breakfast. Z will be on in 18 minutes with Paper Tales, and then Camilla at noon, and then I'll be back at 3. You got live stuff all day.
Stuff.
But other things are coming from the Dice Tower. Folks, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget Dice Tower West registration. Be there.
Or be square?
No, because I'm square and I'm going to be there.
Sure. Be there or use Square to pay at the booth.
Thanks for watching Board Game Breakfast, everybody. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Wendy Yee.
I'm Chris Yee.
Have fun gaming. Stupid puzzle.
Thanks for watching Board Game Breakfast. Tune in each week for your daily dose of gaming goodness with Tom Vassell and all the gang. Until next time, I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast, a Dice Tower production.